In Brooklyn, an old hospital had been abandoned since the 1980s. Windows boarded up, warnings posted. The old St. Jude's Hospital was a local legend, a concrete skeleton whispered to be filled with the echoes of its past. As an urban explorer, I couldn't resist its call. Armed with just a headlamp and my camera, I slipped through a shattered window, the glass crunching like bones under my boots. The air inside was thick and cold, carrying the metallic scent of decay and something else, something medicinal and sweet. My light cut through the oppressive darkness, revealing corridors that stretched into infinity, lined with peeling paint and doorways gaping like hungry mouths. I started on the main floor. Old gurneys stood like silent sentinels, their wheels locked in rust. I found the reception desk, papers still scattered across its surface, yellowed and brittle. One entry in a logbook caught my eye, dated decades ago. Patient in room 307 complains of a shadow man in the corner. Sedative administered. A shiver traced its way down my spine. I decided to head upstairs. The stairwell echoed with every footstep, the sound unnaturally loud in the dead silence. The third floor was the surgical wing. The operating theater was the worst. A single operating table stood in the center of the room, stark under my beam. I could almost hear the frantic beeping of a flatlining heart monitor. As I filmed, a metallic clatter from the hallway made me jump. I spun around, my heart pounding against my ribs. "Hello?" My voice was a weak tremor, silence. Just my own ragged breath. I told myself it was just the building settling, but the feeling of being watched was suffocating. Next, I found the children's ward. The cheerful, faded wallpaper of cartoon animals felt like a cruel joke. Small metal frame beds were lined up in neat rows. In the center of the room was a single, rocking horse, its painted eyes seeming to follow me. As I moved past it, it began to rock, slowly, back and forth. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I froze, my blood turning to ice. The rocking sped up, faster and faster, the squeaking becoming a frantic, rhythmic scream. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I bolted. Fleeing in a panic, I took a wrong turn and ended up in a service stairwell leading down. The air grew damp and smelled of stagnant water and mold. I was in the basement. My light revealed a flooded floor, black water reflecting the ceiling. Floating in the murky depths were patient files, their pages swollen and illegible. I waded through, the icy water soaking my jeans. That's when I saw it. At the far end of the basement, half submerged, was a figure. It was tall and gaunt, unnaturally so, like a stretched-out shadow. It stood perfectly still, its head tilted at an impossible angle. My camera was still recording, but my hands were shaking too much to hold it steady. I didn't need to read a file to know what I was looking at. The shadow man from room 307. Slowly it began to move towards me, not walking, but gliding through the water, creating no ripples. A low gurgling sound emanated from it, a sound that vibrated through the water and up my legs. Primal fear took over. I turned and scrambled back up the stairs, not looking back, the gurgling sound chasing me, echoing up the stairwell. I burst back into the main corridor, sprinted for the broken window and threw myself out, not caring about the fall or the glass. I ran until my lungs burned, and the hospital was just a dark shape against the night sky. I made it out, but I know I didn't escape. Every night when I close my eyes, I see that dark, flooded basement. I hear the squeak of the rocking horse. And sometimes, in the deepest corner of my room, I think I see a tall, thin shadow, just standing there, watching and waiting. Thanks for watching. If you're into creepy places, hit that subscribe button because I have a feeling my explorations are about to get a lot more intense. Local kids dared each other to enter, but none stayed long. Liam, a thrill seeker, entered at midnight. The front doors creaked as if alive. Inside, the smell of mold and rust was overwhelming. Slow suspense, hallways stretched endlessly. Every room was filled with rusted beds, old charts, and medical tools. Footsteps echoed behind him, though he was alone. A faint voice whispered, "Leave, before it's too late." Jump scare. A wheelchair rolled past him on its own, spinning toward him before stopping abruptly. Heart racing, Liam kept moving. He reached the ICU. The machines flickered on, displays glowing red. A patient's body lay on a gurney, but when he leaned closer, it sat upright. Hollow eyes met his, mouth opened in a silent scream. The hospital groaned, doors slammed, shadows ran along the walls. Liam tried to run, but the hallways seemed endless. Final jump scare. In the main lobby, he saw dozens of figures, patients from decades ago, lining the walls. They whispered, "You came. Now you stay." Liam barely escaped as dawn broke, but he kept hearing their whispers at night. And sometimes, at the corner of his eye, he sees figures following him.